Hi, and welcome to Ready, Reset, Go. This is a series about jobs, training, and funding put on by Northwestern Michigan College. I'm Diana Fairbanks. Thanks for joining us here today. We are also joined on the call today by Chris Lester, the Director of Surveying at Gordy Frazier. We had Jason Slade, the Director of the Technical Division at Northwestern Michigan College, and Paige Cincinnati, who is our Financial Aid Specialist from Northwestern Michigan College, joining us here today. NMC is putting on these series of conversations to really give you an idea of some jobs that are available that maybe you didn't know about. Maybe you're looking for a new job. Maybe you're looking to change jobs. Maybe you want a better job. What better way to find out about it than having a conversation with the employers in our community who actually have those jobs? And then finding out what kind of training you might need to be able to be prepared for that job. And of course, making sure that you have maybe get a little financial help to help pay for that training as well. Well, we at NMC are here for you, and we have all those angles covered. We want to make sure that you know that this is not going to be a super in-depth, overwhelming conversation. This is just an introductory conversation to make sure that you know that it's absolutely accessible, and we are here to help you. Like I said, this is a series of conversation. Today, we are talking with Gordy Frazier, but we also have some other area employers who we've spoken with as well. Be sure to check out this conversation and those at nmc.edu/reset. That's where we will have all the information for you available. So let's dive right into our conversation today. And let's begin with Chris Lester. Chris, you are the Director of Surveying at Gordy Frazier, and surveying is one of these jobs that I think we all know about, but maybe we don't know how to get into it. What kind of jobs are available, and what are you seeing?
Well, we have jobs available here for entry-level folks coming in. A lot of the training here is on-the-job training. We work all over the state. We do hydrographic mapping, conventional surveying, high-definition laser scanning. We do some UAV mapping. So my company covers quite a large range of surveying work all across the state.
Now, when someone does that kind of surveying work, what becomes of the work that they do? Where does that go? How does that help other industries, or how does that help our communities?
Well, a lot of what we do is mapping. So that mapping is used to generate hydraulic models. It could be used for civil engineering development. A large component of what we do as well is determining property lines.
Mm-hmm. Very important. I appreciate that. Luckily, I have good neighbors, so we haven't had any disputes, but I know where to go if ever we need to. What is the work itself when someone gets into surveying? What does a day in the life look like?
Well, for an entry-level person here, depending upon their skill levels, a lot of the work is outdoors work. So they'll be outside taking field measurements, assisting to determine where property lines are, doing all different kinds of mapping using different technologies. Some of our entry-level staff that have a bit more in-depth training are able to come inside and take the field measurements and data that we acquire and clean it up and manipulate it into more of a format that we can use for mapping. Some of our entry-level folks are doing some of the CAD work and the drafting inside to help prepare deliverables for our clients. So depending on the skill levels, there's quite a range of work that can be done both outside and inside.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we definitely have a lot of people in Northern Michigan who like to spend time outdoors. So I think a lot of ears just perked up when you said that. What kind of person do you think would really thrive in a surveying kind of position?
Well, definitely is going to take somebody that has a solid work ethic, doesn't mind being outdoors and doing some rigorous work. Somebody that can operate independently a lot of the times. Quite a bit of the work we do is one-man survey crews. So even for some of the entry-level folks, we are having them work as a one-person crew, sometimes independently when they can. So there is some independence required of the folks that are looking at getting into survey work. Definitely a solid knowledge of mathematics and science, and also understanding computers and different kinds of software and equipment is very helpful.
Okay, very good. What about the growth opportunity within this industry? Is this an area where we're seeing, clearly you're on the call with us today, so jobs are available. What are you seeing throughout the industry as far as somebody thinking about, maybe I want to make the change, but is there room for me to grow in this field?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and it's all based upon experience and education. I mean, really, the sky's the limit. When somebody decides they want to get into the surveying field, there could be people that are strictly interested in working out in the field, taking measurements and, doing that type of field work. But there is so much opportunity inside as well with all the technology, all the aerial photography that we're doing and high definition laser scanning, the hydrographic mapping. There are a lot of opportunities, not just in the field, but also, processing that data and then preparing drawings and doing drafting as well.
Mhm. And if somebody is looking to maybe make the change, they're probably going to have to do the math too on their own budget at home. What kind of salary range are we talking about for folks?
It does vary widely depending on
Mhm.
people's experience levels. So um, that it's hard to put a real solid number on that.
But can we safely say good paying jobs?
Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Thank you so much, Chris. A couple of years ago here at Northwestern Michigan College, I know, Jason, we worked with the surveying industry because they were seeing such demand that they actually wanted to start a new degree here at Northwestern Michigan College. Jason, tell us a little bit more about how you worked with the surveying industry to build a program that helped meet their demand and connect our students.
Yeah, Diana, you're absolutely right. We were very fortunate to develop this new program, Surveying Technology. It's a 2-year degree focused on those key skill sets that Chris brought up, and we can kind of expand on those a little bit more. But in terms of formation of the degree, we had a group of individuals from a number of surveying companies come to us and identify this niche for surveying technicians that was real and becoming larger as people retired from the field.
Mhm.
And so, working with Leica and Gordy Fraser and another number of other industry partners, we came up with a curriculum that met that 2-year degree requirement. So it was great. We're in our second fall, so we have our first cohort making their way all the way through the program, and it's been a fantastic experience for them and for us because it allowed us to have state-of-the-art labs through support from Leica, and our students are actually in the field doing work. So as Chris talked about, they're doing field work and office work at Gordy Fraser, but they're doing the same thing here. We actually at the Aero Park campus have a number of waypoints marked, and our students are out there every Tuesday and Thursday taking measurements, using the equipment, doing those things. And I think also interesting was the technology that Chris mentioned. I mean, you heard him mention UAVs. That's drones. I
Mhm.
mean, we have 10 years of experience in drone operation here at NMC, hydrographic surveying. So that aligns really well with our marine technology program. And we're seeing a lot of students kind of go between both parts of land and air and sea on there. And then the CAD platforms, that's been a real draw for a number of our students. They enjoy that Civil 3D class taught by an adjunct instructor from industry, and they're learning firsthand exactly what it takes to lay those out. So it's been a really fun program because there's a lot of different technology in those 2 years.
Well, in 2 years is important because it does sound highly technical. But when this degree was developed, it was a priority to make it an associate degree, not a 2 year, not necessarily a 4 year or beyond. Tell me a little bit more about why that was so important to keep it a 2 year program versus a longer program.
Yeah, and so we're still having lots of conversations about that with industry. So with our program, we're focused in on just the core technical skills, and so we're offering classes usually 2 days a week. So our surveying technology students come all day Tuesdays and Thursdays right now. That way they can work on the other days, go out and do those field studies and whatnot, and then they're focused on the hands-on experience. So our 2-year pathway allows them to enter those positions, like Chris was talking about, to aid in some of those surveying studies, to work with a team that would have a surveyor on there and survey technicians and others. And so that 2-year allows them to kind of enter that workforce right away. We're still exploring options too to find partners in the 4-year pathway so that we can continue that education going. And we're fortunate in Michigan that we have some really strong universities that are willing to back us as we try to find a transition from that 2-year to 4-year. So it's a great market that way because there's a niche right there at the 2-year level. And then there's obviously, as they enter that 4-year level, there's even more opportunity.
I do like the work that you've been doing, both with industry and our 4 year partners. I think that's great. Jason, you made a point of talking about the schedule and how the other days of the week folks can go to work. And we do know that there are a lot of people who want to do both, who need to do both, work and go to school. How is this program designed? How does NMC help those students who also need to go to school and work?
So I think that's key. This program is, I mean, all our programs try to work around the schedule of a working student, but I think this program has gone above and beyond. For instance, we have students at Gordy Fraser, we have students at other surveying firms or working for the state of Michigan. And what we did is we actually polled them each semester to see what the schedule should look like. And so this year it's Tuesday, Thursday. There's talk next year of it being Wednesday, Thursday, depending on needs. But as Chris will attest to, that allows that surveying crew to get out and do work for a full day, and sometimes their days can be long, and that way they can just dedicate their activities here at NMC, just focus on the educational component, and those other days they can be in industry. And we see a lot of our students kind of go all over the state of Michigan, so not having to come back to NMC for a particular class that week makes a big difference.
You know, you mentioned Gordy Fraser and working with Chris here, and you mentioned Leica off the top. How important are those industry partnerships, not only for developing the program itself, but for connections for students, you know, during their education, after their education, but also helping to support the program? I mean, it really seems like Gordy Fraser, Leica, and some of those industry partners are truly invested not only in the program, but in our student success all along the way.
Oh, 100%. And Chris will jump in here at the end, but absolutely, because this program especially has more industry support than many of our other ones, and just because it's brand new. So here's a new program that we're launching, and we did not want to do it in a vacuum. So we're working hand in hand with those industry partners. Actually, I was in the lab last night, and we just got new surveying equipment. So every year, Leica updates our lab fully. The students work with state-of-the-art equipment, and then the next fall, the next generation of equipment come in. And that's just an opportunity that is really hard to get. And so this program has an incredibly active advisory board, and we're very fortunate because we're kind of steering and developing that curriculum as those students progress through. We have a framework for what we want, but we're getting real-time feedback as to what's working and what's not. We're able to make those tweaks. So it's an exciting group on there. And without support of industry partners like Gordy Fraser, without support of Leica helping us with these labs and these updates, I don't think we could offer a program like we are.
Yeah, I think it makes a world of difference for our students too. We're not talking just in theory. This is out there, hands-on, real companies and real work that changes, like you said, to really meet the needs of those employers. And so we hear from students all the time that they want to make sure that what they're learning in the classroom will lead to jobs and skills that they can put to work right away. So I think that sounds great. Yeah, Chris, you want to add something?
Yeah, a couple things I'd like to add, Diane. I think there's a couple of really important points here. I think from a student's perspective, I remember as a student some uncertainty of what you were going to do when you graduated from college. But the fact that the students are able to work while they're going to class, they get to see what the job is like, and they already have a job in place. So there's that assurance that there is employment there. Another thing that Jason mentioned is the advisory group that he has put together is composed mostly of professional surveyors from around the state that are, you know, some, it varies from large to small companies, but they're all potential employers, and they all have a very vested interest, myself included, my company included, that we have students that are coming up that are very important resources to us. And there is a shortage, not just in Michigan and the adjoining states, but nationwide. You know, I'm active in our state society, but also in adjacent states as well, the Professional Surveyor Society. And what you hear from our national group, and it's every single state, that's a common theme, is that there's not enough surveyors, there's not enough technicians, there's not enough professional surveyors that are coming up into the ranks to replace the older folks that are retiring. So this is a very critical job that will continue to be here for a long time.
Yeah, and it sounds like this is one of those jobs that we know it cannot be sent overseas. We need to have those surveyors here right on our ground. So I think that's really important to highlight that demand also, and local demand. Thanks, Chris and Jason. So we know we have the demand. We know we have an interesting job. We know we have great training. Paige, help us figure out how are we going to pay for this training? Because it sounds like not only do our industry partners work really closely with our technical division in developing that content and delivering that content, but there are a lot of resources we have also at NMC on helping people pay to get that training also. What are we looking at when we talk about the landscape of financial resources available for our students?
Yeah, NMC has lots of resources available. The biggest I would say is our foundation has This last year raised $1.7 million worth of scholarships, and 92% of students that apply for scholarships receive one, with the average being $1,300. That's a huge help. There's also, of course, federal financial aid, and there are some state programs, including Futures for Frontliners, which has been all over the media recently. So there's lots of great programs that NMC offers to help students pay for their education.
Futures for Frontliners, you're right, it has received a lot of attention. It just launched in September, and the application period is at the end of December 2020. Paige, for those who haven't yet heard about it and may qualify for it, I mean, it's really a great opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So Futures for Frontliners is for anyone who is an essential worker in the spring and has not received a degree yet. It helps pay for tuition and fees starting this spring semester, all the way up until next fall. So like you mentioned, the application is due at the end of this year. So if you're not sure if you're planning on coming back, I would definitely recommend filling out the application at the very least. It doesn't hurt. It only takes about 5 minutes to fill it out.
Yeah, you can find more information on Futures for Frontliners at nmc.edu/frontliners. Has all the information you need. And as Paige said, even if you think you maybe sort of kind of want to think about pursuing it, go ahead and fill out that application. There's, you're not tied to it if you change your mind or if something else comes up. And you don't have to take classes right away, but you can get approved for that funding. Now, for those who may not benefit from Futures for Frontliners, we've got Michigan Reconnect, which sounds like is going to be launching here in the late winter, maybe early 2021. And it's a similar program. Can you tell us a little bit more about Michigan Reconnect?
Sure. So Michigan Reconnect, like you said, is very similar. It's for anyone over the age of 25 who hasn't received a college degree or certificate yet. It'll be a great opportunity. It'll cover very similar costs to Futures for Frontliners with tuition and fees. So be looking for more information on that. It'll be a great opportunity.
One of the things I know you always stress, and we hear it all the time, but it can feel a little overwhelming, is the Fafsa. You got to fill out the Fafsa, right? Without that, you can't do anything else. But honestly, sometimes all of that paperwork can feel a little overwhelming. There are resources available, including people like you who can help other folks fill out those forms and get the information they need. So it doesn't have to feel as overwhelming, right?
Right, exactly. We have a great page on our website, Financial Aid Events. We offer some live webinars to go over everything you'd need to know about financial aid with college. They compare college costs, a general overview of all the aid available. We have some recorded sessions as well if you're not able to attend. We also have a form you can fill out if you want one-on-one FAFSA completion help. You can meet with us through the phone or over Zoom, and we can walk you through it step by step. We also have a session on scholarships to help you apply and know what to do once you're awarded. And these can help with any college you're going to. It doesn't just have to be NMC. We're here to help no matter where you end up going.
Well, yeah, and a lot of folks do start here, maybe go to another four-year university, and then maybe come back here for some additional training. So it is a complete cycle. Paige, one of the things I think is a strong takeaway here for financial aid is that old saying, you can't hit if you don't swing, because there are scholarships that go unawarded because nobody applied. So at the very least, you just want to let folks know to keep applying for as many scholarships as possible, right?
Right. We have a great general application on our website. Again, it takes about 5 minutes to do. And 75% of our scholarships are auto-matched. You just fill out the one application, lots of background processes happen, and we match you with a scholarship. We have a few that require an additional question, but for the most part, you do that 5-minute application and you're done and you're set.
I think that's great. Well, I'll tell you what, seeing the industry support here and how invested Chris and Gordy Frazier are in getting these students up and running, the work that Jason and our instructors are doing to make sure that those students are getting the skills that they need and the personal attention, and Paige, the work that you're doing to make sure that our students also have the help getting through the financial and paperwork hurdles, I think is really important. I just appreciate all of your help in investing in these students. If you want more information about Gordy Frazier and the Surveying Tech program, the work at NMC, or even financial aid, you can find more information, including other videos within this series with different employers as well. If it's something you might be interested in checking out, you can find it all at nmc.edu/reset, and we will continue to update those videos for you and be a resource for you. So thanks for watching this one, and we hope to talk to you soon.